what can you bring down to Panama that's going to be useful to you? Well, let me start by suggesting something that you can leave behind, so you'll have a little bit more extra room when you come down. 6.5 years ago when I first arrived in Panama, I'd been here for a few days. I was out in a country hotel, just thinking about what I'd been seeing, and suddenly I realized something was different. I felt funny somehow. I couldn't put my finger on it. It took me 2 or 3 minutes to realize that what I was feeling was the lack of a burden of anxiety. Now, it was post 9/11 in the U.S. There were political confrontations. There were all sorts of problems there, but I'd been doing well, and I didn't feel I was obsessing over them. But they had added a substantial amount of anxiety to the background of my life, and that had faded, and it wasn't there. I felt light, and it was a good feeling, and I appreciated that. And that was 6.5 years ago. Today, there are clear signs of anxiety. I hear them in your voices. I read them in your emails. From North America and Europe, people are having some serious problems, and they're not going to go away overnight. We are aware of them down here, both the expatriates who live here and the Panamanian people as well. We're not ignorant of this. It is not the center of our lives, but it is something that is important, and we know it is, and we really do feel for you. We want things to get better for you. But you're up there, and you may feel a lot more of this depression or anger or whatever than you realize consciously. I don't know. But I do know this, that if it's there in you, if it's a layer of anxiety that goes with you wherever you go at home, that is something that is best left behind. That is a big piece of baggage. It doesn't work here. It doesn't fit here. It's not appropriate here. And it's just going to be something that you're going to drag around. It's going to drag you down. It's not going to make your life any easier here. So the first step in determining what the most important thing is to bring with you is what is the most important thing to leave behind. You can't leave it all behind, but you can leave a good piece of it. The rest of it will fade if you give it half a chance. Well, that's enough talk about what you need to leave behind. Now, what are you going to bring down? And one of the things I think is most important to bring down is a spirit of adventure. I mean, this is something new. This is something exciting. You're going to be moving to a new country, a new culture, a new climate, perhaps. Things are different. Oh, we have a lot down here of what you have up north, wherever that may be. But we have a lot more as well. You don't want to just come down here to sit. You don't want to come down here just to get old, or just to find a job, or just to do what you've been doing for years and years and years. Come on down and have some fun. Enjoy it. You will adapt. You will change. You'll grow. You should seek that adaptation. You should seek that change. You should seek that growth. You're not too old to grow. Not at all. If you think you are, and you are. But if you understand yourself well enough, you realize that you can do so many new and interesting things once you have moved to a completely different environment that offers you so many opportunities. So it's not just a question of what you leave behind, but very much a question of the attitude you bring down. You bring it down and it will work for you. And there are thousands of us down here who get up every morning and we're having a good time. We enjoy it. We've adapted. We've changed. I have, that's for sure. Despite years of traveling and going to other countries, this living experience here has really changed my life and improved it as far as I'm concerned. It can do the same thing for you if you bring that attitude down. So there's something to bring with you. And I can assure you this, that if you can pack that up and put that in your baggage when you come on down to Panama, don't worry about it. You're going to that bag, it's going to go right through customs without any problems at all. One of the things that you can bring down as well is a desire to get involved. When I first came down, there were very few activities that really were directed toward expatriates or people from other countries in general, social activities and what have you. There's been a major increase in those in the last few years, not just in the city where we have more activities than we know what to do with, but out in the countryside as well. Much of that has come about as a result of real efforts on the part of expatriates who've moved to Panama to develop activities for themselves, but also for others in the community, and I mean for Panamanians as well as for expatriates. This has been wonderful, and I'm delighted to see it. people still, in some rural parts of the country, understandably, feel there isn't a lot to do. Well, I can tell you there was a lot less to do just 2 or 3 years ago. There will be a lot more to do in the next 2 or 3 years, but that's where you come in. And when you come down with a positive, bright, and cheerful attitude, and you're looking forward to it, and you want it to work, reach out to that community. You can be involved in the building process, and that's what we're doing. And we're doing it, we've got to do it, side by side, with our Panamanian hosts, who've been kind enough to let us come down and live with them. We need to do something for them, and for ourselves in the process. And part of that is just to get out into the community and get involved. Whether that means helping an orphanage, as some people do. Another group deals with animals and spaying dogs, for example, so that bring down the population of stray dogs that is a problem in some parts of the country. They do wonderful work. Others are concerned with an aspect of environment or the local school, the local clinic. There are all sorts of that type of activity. And then there are the other activities that enrich everyone's lives by bringing in some sort of cultural event into the community that has not been done before, and doing it in association with the Panamanians in that area who also would like to see that. When that happens, and it does happen, it's wonderful. This period in Panama's history right now, we may have fewer of the Northerners coming in. We still have plenty of people coming in from elsewhere in Latin America. But the Northerners may not be coming in quite the large numbers that they were. Fine. That's good. Those of us here, and there are thousands of us, now is our chance to enrich our own lives, those in the community around us, and make this home not just a place to retire, or not just a place to make money, but a place to live and enjoy life. That's something to bring down here. And if you bring that attitude down with you, you're going to do just fine.